Hello, everybody. This is video 5, I believe. I recorded an entire video, and it unfortunately did not upload properly, and it did not save in my phone for some reason, which was frustrating because I talked for quite a bit about some things, but I'm gonna do my best to kind of go over it again and just reiterate. I just ran over a branch. And I don't really, it's hard to just go back and like remember everything I said. It's been 2 days now since I recorded that. But I mainly was just talking about my past 2 weeks of training, week 1 and week 2 of a block. So easy stuff. It's just not really too much to say other than the fact that the body is feeling good. My back has been not feeling the greatest, which has been a challenge in its own way to deal with. My back hasn't been feeling the greatest, which has been its own challenge to kind of deal with. It's kind of like after every deadlift session, I just have like this strain in my lower back that kind of carries over into my squat sessions a little bit. The cold that we've been experiencing here in Tallahassee has not helped. It literally snowed here, and CCB, being a gym in Florida, why would you need a heater, So in this cold time, unprecedentedly cold time, the gym has been very cold, around 50 degrees in there on average, and even colder some days to train in. So past 2 weeks have been that's been the theme. It's been kind of brutal to train in this cold weather, just finding ways to get through it, warming up more, trying to get the body like actually warm, but with like a little bit of a nagging thing in my back. Still been able to put up all the numbers that I need to and hitting the boxes every week, but just not as comfortable as it should be, which is okay. This is part of the game, part of what it's about. But I kind of wanted to just talk about, if I had a topic for this video, is about, I'm reaching this point in a prep where I like to, so the topic, my brain jumping around. Topic is reminders, right? So what do I mean by reminders? So every time I'm prepping for a meet, there's this point of time where you have to really turn things up a notch, right? This block is getting to that point. I'm getting to finishing this training block in 2 weeks. I'm going to be doing some stuff that is going to be pretty physically demanding. Past couple blocks, I've been ending it in places where I not necessarily feel comfortable, but I feel confident. So sometimes when you're going into newer territories, like when I'm going into newer territories of lifts, it's like the voices of doubt, the voices of nervousness, anxiousness are very loud. And as somebody who enjoys really training and just the days in and days out of going in and just getting it done, you cruise through these blocks, and like you harness this energy that you can save for later, right? So you save it for later. And I think it's important, anytime you go to the gym, when I go to the gym, it's like, gotta have your checklist of things to make sure that you're gonna feel good. Maybe you didn't, you want to make sure you ate enough food, or you are hydrated, you had some electrolytes, maybe, you know, had a good amount of carbs in you, and then there's an extra box on that list that I always add. That's your reminders, right? You need your reminders. It was actually somebody that I trained with in winter break when I was back home, named Yano. Shout out Yano if you're watching this. That kind of like put the name to the term, I guess, right? Like I was talking to him about training, and I can't talk about reminders without mentioning him, because he was the one that told me that word. Like, I did it. I was active in that process of like remembering why I'm doing this, and like having reminders to just keep you in your path. And he had a great word of calling it reminders. It's a perfect term for it, right? It's a reminder of where you started and what got you here. It's very important. So easy to get lost when you are going into a competition, and let's say you have some other people who are close to you numbers wise, or you are wanting to beat others, and there's like a lot of external noise. I want to hit this number, this date. I want to do this by then. It's like, how much can you really control of that? Like, how much can you actually control of that? What can you do right now to control that future outcome? All you can do is make sure you train well, eat, sleep, blah, 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 the basics, right? But this sort of like expectation of these outcomes may work well for you, or it may not. I find that it does more damage to me than anything, because to myself, to my reminders, to my roots, I am a lifter that just likes to lift in the gym, right? Like, I always say this to people, I love to train, but I had to learn to love to compete, right? Like, I didn't like competing at first. Not even the word love was in there. I had to learn that over time. So when you get lost in the sauce of like, oh, like, I need to hit this by this block, I need to do this by then, let's tone it back. I like to think of it, and this is the point I'm at in prep, because I'm 10 weeks out, which is just feels like a very short amount of time, and I'm like starting to build some anxiousness. I just have to remember why I'm doing this, right? At the end of the day, I'm gonna do the best I can regardless of the outcome. I'm gonna be proud of my efforts, because I'm confident that I've done everything I can day in and day out, and that's the most you can do. If you are on top of your stuff, if you are on top of your eating, if you're on top of your sleep, if you're on top of your training, then you are doing more damage to yourself to be disappointed because of a certain number you didn't hit on a certain day, right? I fully let go of that control, right? Like, I don't have like this mania of control to that I have to hit something this day, right? Like, I have goals. I have this outlook that I would like to achieve, and whether it be realistic or not, I mean, it's an outcome I would like to achieve, but I have no emotional ties to where like I'm gonna completely invalidate all this effort I put in just because I didn't hit a number. Like, that's just, I don't know, it's silly to me. And I have specific reasons why I like to train, and I think everybody does. Maybe that is your why. Maybe your why is, I want to deadlift 700 pounds. I want to squat this much weight, right? And that's what keeps you going, and that's what keeps that fire in your ass, right? Like, and let it be. Like, let that be what it is. I'm just sharing my reminders, right? And my reminders are simply, I like to train. I like to remember who I was when I started and how much I've grown as a person. And it's like I'm much more of like on like a journey where I have no idea where it's gonna take me. I never started powerlifting with some expectation or goal of hitting a number. I never did. And still, to me, I find it like I have to force myself to think of like hitting numbers, like number oriented goals, because it just doesn't feel very natural to me. It's just the way it is for me. I like to train and I like to compete. And I like, what really thrills me with competing is the fact that I don't know. Like, I'm throwing myself into fire really with a lot, like a very little amount of control on the day. Like, you can do a lot of things to prepare yourself and to ensure and predict that you're gonna be good for a certain number on a certain day, right? At the end of the day, you could show up and it could not be that way. So that's why I really like competing, because it's like you're throwing yourself into the fire and seeing what you can get out of it, which is fun for me. As I've described in past videos, I like that feeling of uncertainty and taking myself to a place I've never been to before. Just parked at the gym. But yeah, main focus of this video, I guess, that I want to talk about is, focus on your reminders, whatever it may be, right? I just shared a little bit of insight on mine, and it doesn't mean, that your reminders are wrong if they're not. Like, I don't even think I need to say that, because everybody is different. I am not a huge, a perfect way to describe it is, I love to train. I learned to love to compete. I like to lift weights on a daily basis, regardless of what numbers are on the bar. But when these numbers get greater, I get very excited. And I have to remind myself, like, who I am when I get under that bar. That's me. That's me as a lifter. I have to remember, how far I've came. I have to remember me as a 135-pound freshman looking at myself right now and thinking, like, holy crap, right? Like, you have to fulfill this path that you've taken. And just the difference in mentality over time, how I've looked at training over time. You have to take pride in your own path. And yeah, I'm getting to a point now where training is starting to pick up a little bit. These end of blocks are daunting, and I'm excited. I feel good, like I feel confident to do it. But like, with like confidence, there is like a lot of I wouldn't say doubt, but I do feel like anxious and nervous, right? I'm nervous. But feeling good. About to go in to start my week 3. Past 2 weeks have been chill. I might show some clips of it on here, of maybe the best stuff. It's just like, I just wanted to journal my thoughts on training, how I look at it, especially when the times are coming now where you are thinking, oh my God, like, what am I going to be good for on meet day? Like, I'm 10 weeks out. Like, what am I going to say, bro? I don't even know. I have no clue. There's literally no, you can say these things, like, you could say you want to do these things, and it might help you. It might help you. Which is something I've been trying to balance with this YouTube channel, and the way I'm talking is like, I do want to treat this as like a video log of me and my thoughts, but I just never wanted to be like a discouragement of somebody else's thoughts. So and that's something I've been learning. It's like, the way you look at training might not be the same as somebody else, and that doesn't mean it's wrong. It might not work for you, and you might feel in your heart, damn, that is not the way you should look. But it's how everybody looks at it. Life in general is gonna be different, and training is no different than that. So yeah, like the way I look at it, it's like, man, the thought of even trying to put a number in my head for meet day will cripple me. Like, I can't even think about doing that. What'll help me, what keeps me in my path and, you know, keeps me going is my reminders of who I am. And it's like, when you get under that bar, when you finally get under that weight, it's like, it's you under that weight. It's you doing that. Like, no matter the hype, no matter who is around, no matter where it is, like, there needs to be something inside of you that wants to achieve that. And it needs to be strong, especially if it needs to power over a lot of doubt and fear going into a lift. There needs to be something that you pick, something that you know inside of you that, you know, powers you, that gives you that strength to do it. I fully believe in that. Wow, I rambled for 16 minutes. That was crazy. There is a homeless guy approaching my vehicle, so I think I'm gonna cut this short. I will talk to you guys later. I hope you are having a great week. See ya.